Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is March the 31st, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Easter. I believe that this is the day that either you're getting some Easter eggs or you're talking about Jesus rising or being risen, whatever. Let's see here. I'm doing good. I have a bit of a headache that's been kind of looming over me, a bit of a hangover-ish kind of vibe. I gotta drink more water. I definitely gotta do that. I gotta hydrate while I party. But anyway, I had a really good night last night. Got to see a friend going off in a little bit of a going away party. It was a really good time. A little bit of a cookout. Well, let me say a little bit. It was a lot of a cookout vibe. Food corner was burgers and hot dogs and some chippies. It was very yummy. I enjoyed it. Shout outs to the grill master. And then let's see here. A friend brought in this scrumptious. I know that's not a word. I'm just making it up, but whatever. It was so yummy. It was this like lemon blackberry cheesecake. It was amazing. It was doing tricks in my mouth. It was nuts. So I literally liked it so much. I was at the grocery store and it incepted me to buy blackberries. So I mean, it's good when it's doing Christopher Nolan shit to your brain. Okay, there's that. Yeah, I had a good night. I had a good time. Just once again, just did not hydrate. Woke up with like a killer headache, and I just, feel like I've not been as productive as I should be or could be. Lagging behind a little bit, but it's been good. It's been a nice little Sunday for me. What is it? The weather it's overall good. It's definitely rainy. I feel like it's another reason why I'm a little bit choppy, but like at the same time, it's not raining too bad. So that's good. We love to see that. Actually, it's not really raining like at all right now, so that's good. Just like residual cloudiness ish. I don't know. Maybe it'll break up. Ohio, it's hard to keep up with. What can I say? Um, okay, I'm done ranting and raving about my life. Let me go ahead, do my startup, and we'll try to kick around some news. Ooh, all right, yeah, that'll get me back on track. From the Guardian, at least two people killed in Russian strikes on Ukrainian energy network. Russia has carried out another round of missile and drone strikes against Ukraine's much depleted energy network, killing at least two people. One man died in a cruise missile attack on infrastructure in the western Lviv region, while another was killed after a projectile hit a petrol station in the northeastern Kharkiv region, officials said on Saturday. Lviv's governor Maxim Kotsky said there may still be people under the rubble, adding that firefighters had extinguished a blaze that broke out at an administrative building damaged in the strikes. Let's see here. On Saturday, the Ukrainian energy company Centrigo said the Zimiv thermal power plant, one of the largest in Kharkiv region, had been completely destroyed as a result of Russian shelling last week. Power outages schedules were still in place for about 120,000 people in the region, where 700,000 had lost electricity after the plant was hit. Excuse me, on March 22nd. The national energy operator Ukringo. Oh my gosh, what kind of that's a weird name to me. I'm sorry. Ukringo, I guess it's Ukrainian energy put together. Anyway, said Russia had also targeted high voltage facilities in the south on Sunday, forcing emergency shutdowns in the Black Sea of Odessa and nearby areas that left hundreds of thousands of people without power. So obviously that's very unfortunate, very sad. There's a bit of other news they added, kind of like this is split into like three parts. These wave of strikes came after Russian President Vladimir Putin signed orders heralding the start of the country's annual spring recruitment season, officially drafting 150,000 conscripts. Russia's parliament raised the upper age limit for conscripts from 27 to 30 in July of 2023. A move that appeared to be part of the efforts to expand the country's military during the fighting in Ukraine. In September, Putin signed an order calling up to 130,000 people for the autumn campaign, and last spring, Russia planned to conscript 147,000. Let's see here, and then the rest for the article, it's a bunch of French stuff like French aid and yada yada yada. I don't really want to get into the weeds about that. It's whatever to me. Parlez-vous français. Anywho, let me move on to the next bump. Let's see, from Reuters. Peruvian president rules out resignation amid Rolex inquiry. Peruvian President Dina Boluarte on Saturday said she would not resign after her home was raided as part of inquiries into possible illicit enrichment and failure to declare ownership of luxury watches. Some 20 officials from the public prosecutor's office and 20 police raided Boluarte's house on Friday night and the palace on Saturday morning. I took office with clean hands, and thus I will retire from the presidency in 2026, she said at a press conference, calling the raids a disproportionate measure and abusive. Let's see here. What else did I want to really pull? So the watch gate, the Rolly gate, if you will, is essentially she's been seen and pictured with several different Rolex watches, very expensive watch. Now she says that these were watches that she's collected and, acquired since she was young, and there's nothing untoward about it. There's nothing criminal about it. These weren't ill-gotten gains or any kind of bribes. This is no corruption at all, but this is merely sexism, by the media who, called this out, and, an unconstitutional raid, by, police or whatever. I don't know. I really don't know exactly how I feel about it. In one way, I'm kind of like, yeah, like these seems like watches. Like, how can you really prove it? And this does seem excessive. But at the same time, it's also like, why wouldn't you just declare if that is your story and you're gonna stick to that, hey, I'm a avid collector of these watches, this is my thing, why not just write that down on the fucking piece of paper when you fucking turn that in? You know what I mean? Like, it's such an easy thing to do, and this leaves you fucking vulnerable. You know what I mean? You literally could have solved this problem by just wearing one simple little fucking Apple Watch. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. You know what I mean? So, like, whether or not, you agree with Boluarte and her politics, whatever, like, you just could have solved this by just being smart. I don't know, you know what I mean? But also, it does seem like such a hard thing to prove, and like, it does make me wonder, is this a waste of, like, Peruvian tax dollars, to make this thing happen? But also, this is kind of how, corruption can kind of slip through the cracks, right? So, I don't know. Personally, I'm kind of torn. I'm definitely in full-on spectator mode, just kind of saying, hey, this happened. Let's just see how it plays out. Let's see if there's anything else I really wanted to pull here. Nah, we're good. I think we made it to the end. I ranted and raved enough there. A little bit of a riff mode for you. Classic for a Sunday. Let's see if this next article loads. Here we go. From the BBC. Puruga Zeraati. TV station Iran International faced heavy threats before stabbing. Now, I gotta say, for the sake of the thumbnail, sadly, I wasn't able to get him in the hospital bed with his peace sign up. But that is him in the photo there. I kind of had to crop it a little bit because I wanted to make sure you saw Boluarte's little rolly, okay? No Daba Ranch, but I needed to make sure you saw that part. I had to sacrifice. You needed to know that behind the scenes, okay? Anyway. The stabbing of an Iranian TV news channel presenter follows heavy threats made to the London-based station. A spokesman has said Iran International presenter Priya Zeraati, 36, was attacked by a group outside his home in Wimbledon, South London. On Saturday, he posted a picture of him smiling, or a picture smiling from his hospital bed as he recovers. So we're happy to hear that. I'm not sure if these people were just trying to like send a message and like they could have killed him, or like, he, just got lucky. Either way, he was definitely blessed. Awesome. I'm happy to see that, he's alive. Not just to, spread his message, but also, it would just suck to die. Dying sucks, news. This just in, breaking news. Let's see. Counterterrorism officers are leading the investigation while the Iranian regime has denied any involvement. London-based Iran International aims to provide independent coverage of events in the country, but the regime in Tehran has declared it a terrorist organization. Its spokesperson, Adam Belil, told BBC Radio 4's Today program that the station had been under heavy threats for 18 months. He said the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the IRGC, has been targeting journalists and their families. Along with our colleagues at BBC Persian, Iran International has been under threat with heavy threats for the last 18 months since the IRGC said, "We're coming for you," which they've consistently repeated, Mr. Bellioli said. I tried another crack at it. The IRGC gets in touch through proxies, or get in touch through proxies. They don't leave a paper trail, he said. No one's going to call up from the IRGC and go, "Hey, it's us," but families have been taken in for questioning and threatened, he said. So that's a really relevant thing to say, because Iran and, the IRGC can say, "Hey, we aren't doing this stuff. Like, we aren't doing anything," when really they are, and, there's just a kind of plausible deniability. So it's one of those things where it's very hard to kind of prosecute this kind of thing, I think. It's also, I think, why you see counterterrorism saying, "Hey, we don't know exactly what happened here. We don't know the exact motive, since we only have, hey, there was a group of people, there was a stabbing, so they're kind of playing it close to the chest." I understand that. But yeah, it's very unfortunate because it's a super scary situation where it's not just you, but anyone who's tied to you, family, friends, you're just trying to literally tell a story, tell the truth about what's going on, and your life's in danger. You know what I mean? I can definitely tell you, they just do not get paid enough to do this kind of shit, and I herald them for it. I hail them for it. Kudos. Putting your fucking life on the line. But yeah, like I said, it's super scary shit. I definitely want to make sure I yapped about it at least a little bit. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to pull here. The UK announced sanctions in January against members of the IRGC's Unit 840 following an investigation by ITV into plots to assassinate two Iran international presenters in the UK. So just proving it, it's not just this one news outlet. Essentially, this has kind of been an ongoing thing. I know I think Iran International, I think there was a time where they even moved from the UK to Washington, D.C. because it was just getting too hot. There was just too many threats. So they're like, "Hey, let's shut down here. Let's move to the U.S." Which, in some ways, I kind of think, is that safer? I don't know. Oh, man, hogs are crazy over here. You know what I mean? But then they wound up moving back. But obviously, the block was still hot, if you will. Let's see here. Was there any more I wanted to say? No, I think we're good. Once again, I never do this shit justice, but obviously if you would like more details, by all means, check out the BBC. I initially heard this from listening to the BBC, but yeah, wanted to kind of sample that a little bit, talk about that a bit. And let's see here. We have one more thing to cover before I let you go. We're going to talk about AT&T. They dropped the ball. There was a little bit of a breach, a little bit of a leak. But yeah, let me go ahead and do my last break, and then we'll go ahead and cover that. That did indeed hit the spot. Okay. Once again from the BBC. AT&T data breach. Millions of customers caught up in major dark web leak. Ooh, spooky. Hackers. Personal data belonging to 73 million current or former AT&T customers has been leaked online. Information including addresses, social security numbers, and passcodes was published on the dark web and the U.S. telecoms giant. Or the U.S. telecom giant said. AT&T said it had not identified evidence indicating the data had been stolen, but had brought in cybersecurity experts to investigate. The company said it had reset the customer's passwords. Excuse me. They were urged by the company to remain vigilant by monitoring account activity and credit reports. The data involved in the breach appears to be from 2019 or earlier and is linked to 7.6 million customers and 65.4 former account holders. Sorry. Oof. It also includes information such as full names, email addresses, and dates of birth. Through AT&T, though AT&T said financial information had not appeared in the leak. I'm not sure exactly like what group is involved here. Sometimes those things are on the low until later, or what have you. But definitely try to keep you posted if anything more happens from here. I think, and they mentioned it here. The last time I think we talked about AT&T was I missed the data breach by like a day or so, but I was like, oh yeah, let's definitely make sure to talk. Or not the data breach, the outage, which was kind of a fucking bummer. Yeah, in February, a major outage impacted tens of thousands of cell phone users, which prompted an apology from the firm and an offer of $5 credit for those affected. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. There you go. There's a little bit of an update there. Could have got $5 for all your fucking hassle, not being able to call anyone for like 12 hours. But yeah, I mean, it always sucks when there's a data breach. I do put that on the company. At the end of the day, it's their security at the end of that is supposed to be holding the line for our data, as customers. I can say that because technically I have been an AT&T user, but granted, I think I was using an AT&T phone back when we were using flip phones. That was like my first cell phone provider as a kid, and I miss that shit. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think they're supposed to be the watchers on the wall. When they drop the ball, we wind up, getting our shit compromised. That shit sucks. Hell, I got one of those emails where it's like, hey, your information has been viewed, has been hacked, or what, compromised. You should get new blah blah blah. And I'm like, look, I'm not clicking any of this, and I'm not interested. I know every day my fucking booty cheeks are ready to get clapped digitally, and I hate that for me. And I've had my identity stolen, physically, digitally. Either way, it's bad, and it feels very violating. Feels very icky. But yeah, man, hopefully, you change your passwords, you keep up on your digital security as much as you can, lock down your accounts, as well as you can do. I don't know. I don't really, my digital hygiene's not the greatest, so who am I to tell you what to do? But yeah, that's it. That's the episode. I know I've been kind of chasing my tail here a bit, but thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I'll see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.